our session. Okay, fantastic. Thanks for that, Timmy Tokwe. Okay, so let's get the feedback coming in. Brenda, Timmy Tokwe, Brenda, thanks for that. Before we dive into our session today, I want to do a very quick, let me say, spot check. Okay, if you are joining us for the very first time, this is your first time in a 10 Analytics masterclass, a 10 Analytics session, just type in yes into the chat. If this is your first time joining a 10 Analytics tech series masterclass, type in a yes into the chat. Okay, brilliant. Okay, so it's Ada's first time, Lola, Timmy Tokwe. All right, so we have quite a number of newcomers. It's my first time, Onyeka. Onyeka, you're welcome to the session today. Okay, so good to have you all join us. Before we dive into our session, we have a very interesting topic. And today's topic is, how do you transition from certain career path into the tech ecosystem? How do you make that decision? And why is it important for Africans who are across the different major economies like the UK, Canada, and the US? How do you start to shift your mindset from a particular career path into the tech ecosystem? This is what our session would center around. And how do you also apply? Where do you apply to get sponsored jobs? For those of you who are doing a master's, you want to move from being a student, a study visa, to a postgraduate, a post-study visa. You're in Canada, you want to get a postgraduate work permit and ensure that the job you get within that period would sponsor you, or the organizations you apply to have the license to sponsor. So it eventually leads to your ILR, and you can then apply for citizenship. So we're going to dive into that a little bit today, but I'd like to know where you are joining from. And my name is Adisa. I'll be leading the session today, and I'm joining from Alberta, Canada. So just type into the chat where you are joining from. Let's see where you're joining from. I'm joining from Alberta, Canada. So type into the chat and let's know where you are joining this session from. Okay, Eric is from the UK. Mojisola from Scotland, UK. Fantastic. Lola is from Birmingham. Nosa from Lagos. Okay, we have somebody from Texas. Ada is from Texas in the US. Victor is from Toronto. Mozambique, Bristol. Brilliant, absolutely fantastic. So let's dive into our session today. We'll have a very fantastic time. So if you know anybody that you think would benefit from today's session, send this message to them, share the link with them, let them join us today, and let's have an amazing time together. I'll lead the session doing my presentation. I'll try to keep it as interactive as possible. So if you have questions, send your questions into the chat, and I'll pick questions there from time to time. But before we wrap up today, before we wrap up our session, I'll take out time. We'll do a 30 minutes Q&A, so you have the opportunity to ask all the questions that you have. All right, but you know somebody that should be here and they are not here, share the message with them. Okay, now let's dive into our session. So who are we and what is 10 Analytics all about? All right, well, let's start with the topic. Our topic today is based on my experience with so many professionals. When I was in the UK, I interacted with so many people across Manchester, London, Leeds, Bradford, and I had so many friends who decided to get into the care jobs, the health and care jobs, for one major reason, or for two major reasons. The first reason is they think that's the only place or that's the only space they can easily get opportunities and eventually get visa to stay back in the UK. So that's number one. Number two is because they really don't know how seamless it can be to transition into other career paths. So I had friends who were bankers, but they moved to the UK and they became care workers. I had friends who did supply chain back in Nigeria. They came to the UK and they got into the care space. And this brings me to the topic we have today. There are a lot of people, and all, fantastic, all respects to those who are doing the care jobs. It's a job that everybody needs, and big ups to them. fantastic career path. However, you have some people who didn't get into the care jobs by their own will. They felt that was the only option available to them. So how can you easily transition into other career paths? And what are the career paths you need to consider? So this is what our session today would center around essentially. And for us at Tenalytics, we are the leading educational technology company. And the focus for us is on helping Africans in Africa and Africans in the diaspora to transition into the tech ecosystem. And over the last 4 years, we've been able to help over 2,000 people make this transition from the classroom to getting their first jobs in the tech ecosystem across different areas, different regions, from the UK to Canada to the US, across Africa, and so on and so forth. Now, how have we been able to achieve this? We've been able to achieve this by focusing on the two major pivots that would easily help you navigate the space. And I'll be sharing them with you today. Number one is your technical skills, and number two is the employability skills. And we offer programs across different areas, from data analytics to business analysis, data science, and so on and so forth. And I'll be leading the session today. My name is Adisa. I'm a technology expert with a decade experience across data analytics, management consulting, and so on and so forth. I'm the founder of Tenalytics, and through Tenalytics, we've been able to help over 2,000 people to also break into the tech ecosystem. My experience spans across multiple roles, multiple regions, from data science consulting in the UK and the US, data analysts with one of the largest energy conglomerates in sub-Saharan Africa, and also as a data analytics consultant with FITC, owned by the CBN, the Bankers Committee in Nigeria. And I've also worked across 5 different sectors, from sports to financial services to educational technology, automobile, and so on. And I'll be sharing my experience with you today. All right, how did I make the transition myself, and how can you also do the same? And our session will touch on 4 key points. The first point is, where are the opportunities? Okay, so if I'm not going to consider a career path in the health and care or in other areas, where are the opportunities? I'll be sharing that with you, and I'll show you how to get into these areas, practical steps, how you can do it, how we've helped other people do it, and how you can also achieve the same. And then we get into our upcoming program, upcoming cohorts. We have just 2 cohorts left in 2024. The next one comes in on the 2nd of November, and the final one will be in December. And I'll be sharing the new cohort starting as well. So you get to ask questions and see how you can be a part of that. And finally, I have an amazing discount for those who would be interested in getting their journey started. So if you've ever thought about getting into the tech ecosystem, becoming a business analyst, becoming a data analyst, how can you achieve this? Our discussions would center around this a whole lot. All right. So ensure that if you want to get my material, my slides, you want to watch the recording at the end of today's session, fill the attendance form. My colleagues would share the attendance form in the chat. Take out time, fill the attendance form so that you get all the materials after today's session. Now, the major challenge we have is we don't have enough Africans and people of the Black community in the tech ecosystem. I've worked across so many organizations in the UK, across the US, and it's either I'm the only African on the team, or I have maybe 1 or 2 other people working within that team in the data space or as a cybersecurity professional and so on. And I always ask this question: if technology shapes the future, who shapes technology? So let me throw that question to you guys, and I want you to type your answer in the chat. If technology shapes the future, who shapes technology? Let's see what your thoughts are around this question. So type into the chat. If technology shapes the future, we all know this. Who shapes technology? Type your answer into the chat, and let's see what you think about that. before we move on with the rest of our session. So who shapes technology? If technology shapes the future, who shapes technology? Honor says people. People, the people. Absolutely, the people. Okay, Temitope says the people shape technology. Humans, fantastic. Shima Mojisola says humans. Humans shape technology. The people shape technology. And technology is driving the world forward at an unprecedented rate. We are all recipients, we are all users of these technologies. But what you'd find is that a vast portion of the population, the Africans, and the people of the Black community are underrepresented, significantly underrepresented. And this is a big issue. Like I said, when I went to the UK, for my master's, I saw a lot of people who came from diverse backgrounds. And the only thing everybody kept talking about was, oh, I want to get into the health and care. And I started to wonder, why is this the focus for you? You're coming from the energy sector back in Nigeria. You're coming from renewables. You're coming from the banking industry. Why is this the focus for you? And the answer was very simple. And the answer was, that's where I think I can easily get the health and care visa to stay back, stay for 5 years, apply to get the ILR, and eventually I'll be able to stay back in the UK, become a a British citizen, and so on and so forth. But here I was in that same group. My very first job in the UK was as a customer insights analyst, working for a company in the automobile sector. So while everybody else was chasing different other career paths, I decided to chase a career path that was, I felt you can't give me a difficult physical work to do and I'll be able to do it. So I didn't see myself in that space. I saw myself in front of my computer, working from home, having to go to the office once or twice a week. And that was the type of job I was able to get. So how can you also start to shift your perception, shift the narrative from the convention and what everybody else is saying out there to getting the opportunities available within the space? And I did a lot of research. We always do a lot of research at Analytics, and I'll be sharing some of them with you. And one that stood out to me was a research by the Migration Observatory of the University of Oxford. And what did they find? Out of every 100 health and care employee that they hired, 30 of them were Africans. So out of every 100, you'd find 30 Africans. But when you come into the tech ecosystem, the data analysts, the software developers, the data scientists, for every 100 staff employed, only 6 were Africans. So there is a clear tilt, a clear shift towards a major career path. And I've kept the link to the reports for everybody to have access to this. And you'd see where you have sub-Saharan Africa right here. And you'd see that in the health and care sector, you have over 29% dominated by Africans. And when you look for the technology-related roles, information and communications technology, you'd see that we are only represented by 6%. While you have other regions and other countries like India representing 17% in the tech ecosystem. So this shows where the focus is for us. And you'd assume that because we focus on a particular area, the salary, the remuneration is fantastic. But I also did a breakdown of what the salary would look like, or what the salary currently looks like for somebody who is in health and care, for somebody who is in a tech-related role, like a data science role or a data analyst role, and the rest. But this is staggering for anybody who looks at this. Out of every 100 health and care staff, you have 30 Africans. But in the tech ecosystem, you have just 6 out of every 100. So how do we start to change this narrative? How do you move, especially for those of you who want to do something else? Okay, health and care was not the default for you. However, you had no choice, you had to get in. So how do you get out? How do you get into other career path? And that's where I'll be showing you what I'll be showing you, people that have done it and how we have helped them also achieve this. Now, looking at the salary, because like I said, you'd imagine that 29%, every 100 health and care employee, 30 are Africans. So there must be a reason in terms of the pay, the remuneration, why people are getting in there. But let's dive a little bit into the pay. And this is based on the average across the three major economies, the US, the UK, and Canada. So the average salary according to Talent, Indeed, PayScale, and Salary.com. Now, looking at the career path for the care worker in the UK, the average would be around 10 to 11 pounds per hour. In the US, about $18 per hour. In Canada, about $19.5 per hour. Okay, fair average salary, the basic income and so on and so forth. Now, going to the warehouse operative, because you'd also see a whole lot of Africans getting the warehouse jobs, working shifts and so on and so forth. There is dignity in labor, no doubt about that. But you don't want to stay there for too long. There's a reason why the warehouse jobs are called survival jobs. These are jobs you do the early days going into a new country, earn money to keep the lights on while you transition into another career path. Now, looking at the average in the UK, it's about 9 to 10 pounds per hour on the average. In the US, about $14 on the average per hour, and in Canada, about $19 per hour. Now, let's look at one role within the tech ecosystem, and let's pick the data scientist. The data science role, you'd find in the UK well over 28 pounds per hour. And like I said, this is an average. This is not the maximum, it's not the minimum, it's an average across that particular region. In the US, $64 per hour, and in Canada, 67 Canadian dollars per hour. So the question is, I can make this much, and to even get you to understand the gravity of what this means, it means that the average care worker would have to work for 3 days to earn the 1 day salary of the data scientist. It also means that the average warehouse operative would have to work for 4 days to earn the 1 day salary of the data scientist. And this is a data scientist who is at home at the comfort of his or her home, working from the front of their computers, building machine learning models, making presentations back in the office. And you have a progressive career path where you can grow and see a progression for yourself in the next 5 years. It's staggering. So the pay is not fantastic when it comes to other career paths, but the pay is fantastic when it comes to the tech ecosystem. So why don't I start to see the possibilities of transitioning into this space? So like we all know, we've all seen, the health and care sector predominantly dominated by African migrants, while the tech ecosystem, you have the Africans grossly underrepresented. And the reason why you have this are two key things: the lack of skills. Okay, number one is lack of skills. So people don't have the skills to even apply to those jobs. So the job of a data analyst requires you to use Excel, Power BI, Tableau, SQL, and the rest. But no skills. You don't have the skills to even apply to those jobs. And for those that have the skills, they don't apply. And I'll come back to dig into this. What do I mean by they don't apply? And this is not an Adisa's assumption or a Tenalytics assumption. It's a report from the EU showing the gap, the talent gap across the entire European Union, including the UK, and the reasons why employers struggle to hire people. These are the two major reasons: the lack of skills. So when they interview people, they realize that they don't have the skills to get the job done. And the second reason is, for those who apply, who seem to have the skills, they don't apply enough. But not applying enough, what does it mean? I'll break that down as we move on during our session today. Now, the question anybody would ask is there a demand for these type of jobs in the tech ecosystem? Can I learn the skills, apply, and get a job? That's the question everybody always asks. Can I get a sponsored job as a business analyst? Can I get a company to sponsor my visa as a data analyst and so on? And that's the question everybody would always ask. The demand in the tech ecosystem is massive. It's enormous. It's unbelievable, unprecedented. There's never been a time where organizations are looking for professionals who have the skills to manage, analyze data, extract insights from data, protect the data, your information security analyst, your cybersecurity analyst, and so on and so forth. All right. So there are massive opportunities within the space. But where are these opportunities? So I'll give you a little bit of research that over the years we've been able to put together to show where the demand is, because this is the first thing you must always do when trying to transition. The first question you must always ask yourself is, what do I want to learn? Which career path will I need to select? Because there are so many areas, so many career paths, and you can get lost in the analysis paralysis. Should I do software engineering? Should I do UI UX? Should I do product management? Should I do project management? These are the questions you'd always ask yourself. So where are the opportunities? And this is what would help you answer that question. Which career path do I need to get into? All right. So let's take the UK, for example. The demand for data skills. Like I said, there's never been a time where organizations are looking for professionals with data skills. So this is from the UK government, Department of Science, Innovation and Technology. You constantly have every single year 178 to 234,000 roles that are left unfilled. Organizations are trying to hire to fill these roles, but these roles go unfilled. They can't fill the roles. Year in, year out, year on year, you have these roles available, but you don't have people with the right skills to fill these jobs. And about 50% of the companies they surveyed also say that they're hiring, they want to hire for these roles, but they can't find the people to fill these roles. And based on this research, what are the top roles organizations are hiring for in the data space in the UK? Number one is the data analyst. And people always ask, is the data analyst career path not saturated? All right. I heard this 10 years ago when I was getting into data analytics, and I almost made the decision to study and learn software engineering instead, because it seemed like everybody wanted to become data analysts. But I decided data analytics seems interesting, and I was going to go in irrespective. But you always feel like there is saturation because of the people you move around. A whole lot of people want to become data analysts today. But why is there a demand for data analysts? Why do you have 178 to 234 roles that are left unfilled every single year? And the answer is very simple. The Earth has been in existence for an average of about 300,000 years, okay? That's based on when people started living on Earth, about 300,000. 90% of the data we have today, 90% of the data we have was generated in the last 5 years. So in the total existence of the world, 90% of the data we have was generated in the last 5 years, between 2018 and 2023. So organizations have data they keep on generating. They don't even know how to store. They don't know how to manage the data. They don't know how to structure the data, extract insights and information from the data to make sense out of that data to take decision. I always tell people this: data is like crude oil. Crude oil is useless when it's in the ground. It's only useful when you extract, you refine, and you get other products out of the crude oil, your petroleum product, for example, and so on, your jet fuel, and all of that. Data is useless except you can analyze, manage, handle the data, extract information, extract insights out of that data. And that's the reason why organizations are looking for you. They are looking for professionals that have the skills to get the job done. As a student in the UK, you have just 20 hours to work every week. So what people do is they try to get the customer service jobs, they try to get the warehouse jobs and all of that. My very first job as a student with a limitation of 20 hours and I needed to do some work was as an Excel expert. So most organizations would not hire you as a student to work with them full time because they can't just get the best out of you. So what they do is they would naturally not want to hire a student into a specific data role. But if you can show them that you have the skills and you have something to offer, you can get roles in different areas. Mine was as an Excel expert. And this was where I used Excel to do analysis, build dashboards, and show, what the business was, getting an insight into the business at that point in time. So organizations need people that can handle data because we are generating data at an unprecedented rate, at volumes that are unbelievable. And that's why you'd see the data analyst is number one. You have head of data, you have data manager, you have the data scientist, you have the data engineer. But if you are a professional working with data, you can't make a mistake. Getting into a career path where you'd have to work with data, you've made a decision that will take you into multiple, progressive career path in the future. You can't be making a mistake getting into a data-related role. In the US, you'd see a massive, massive demand for not just the data analyst, the data scientist, the data engineer, but also for the agile project manager. And I'm going to come down back to this. Why agile? Why not your conventional project management, where you focus on the waterfall methodology? But you get to see the second point, if you can read what you have here, at least 71% of US companies are now using agile project management methodologies. When it comes to project management in the tech ecosystem, you only do what? Leverage agile. So agile is where you are building products, where you are iterating and making changes regularly. So you use your WhatsApp, you use your Facebook, you use your Instagram, and every other day you see new updates. There was nothing like Meta AI on Instagram. WhatsApp never used to have the feature for you to share your screen, but today you have that. That's leveraging the agile methodology to build technology-related products. And because the world is driven by technology and people drive the technology, agile project management is where you want to be, because this is where you'd have all the skills to manage technology-related products, technology-related projects, getting feedback from the customer and building a product that fits the market. You'd also see in Canada, for example, apart from all the other roles I've mentioned, there is a demand for the cybersecurity professional. And you'd see here about 157,000 cybersecurity professionals are needed by Canadian organizations. So again, cybersecurity, what are you doing? You're protecting the systems, protecting the data, and protecting the network of companies. If you're in the business of data, protecting, managing, analyzing, building dashboards, building models, you can't be making a mistake. Now, we looked at all of this. We've looked at all these reports. We know that the demand is there, but we decided to do our own in-house analysis. And the analysis we decided to do is very simple. We've been doing this since 2020 till date. Okay, 2020 till date. We started collating data for 2024. And what's this analysis all about? We gathered data from the major job boards, from Indeed, Glassdoor, Total Jobs, ZipRecruiter, and so on and so forth. From the major economies, the UK, the US, and Canada. We gather this data and we juxtapose 3 major criteria on these data sets. And what do we try to see? We want to see the jobs that are high in demand. Which career path, which job role are employers recruiting for? Okay, so we use 3 major criteria to also filter and see if we've seen the career paths that are high in demand. So let's take, for example, across the US, the UK, Canada, you have the data analyst featuring significantly in terms of the demand for professionals. You want to look and find out, not all career paths can easily be learned. So we looked at the ease of learning. If I need to transition, how easy would it be for me to learn? Okay, and let's take, for example, if today I decide I want to get into a major career path that is trendy, I know that if I have the skills, I'm not going to stay long in the job market and I'll get a job. Blockchain engineer is one of them. If you're in blockchain, as a blockchain engineer, you won't stay long in the market. You get a salary, you get a job that'll pay you amazing salary. But the question is it easy to become a blockchain engineer? It is extremely, extremely technical. So you have to do a lot of learning. You have to go back to school, most likely, do a master's program, get to the level of a PhD, and so on and so forth. All right. So we needed to look at the career path, even though you have it high in demand. Is it easy to learn? And then after looking at that, we also looked at how easy is it to transition? So ease of learning, ease of transitioning. Can somebody who works in the healthcare sector, can somebody who has worked as a banking officer has worked in the risk management department of a bank, can they learn the skills and transition? For somebody who has done supply chain for the last 10 years, can they learn and transition? So how easy is it for people to transition into this career path? And is there a demand for these different job roles? And finally, we looked at the salary. So if I've learned the skill, I want to get into a career path where I can learn the skills within 3 to 5 months. And it doesn't matter if I've done customer service or I've worked as a care worker or I've done, supply chain. I can easily transition. I can pick up the skills and easily transition. And again, the salary is also great. It has high and rewarding salary. So we looked at these 3 criteria and we selected 8 different career paths that if you get into, you want to get a job today, you want to get a visa sponsored job, you want to get a job that is high in demand, you want to look at these 8 career paths. Number 1 is the business analyst, the agile project manager, emphasis on agile, the data analyst, the data scientist, the data engineer, the cybersecurity analyst, the financial analyst, and the HR analyst. Anything you see analysts behind, the business analyst, the data analyst, the financial analyst, the HR analyst, the data scientist, the data engineer, you work with data one way or the other. Data is predominantly what you'd be doing. All right. So these are the career paths. If you look at all the different career paths in the tech ecosystem, software engineering is very, very enticing. The salaries are brilliant, fantastic. However, how long does it take you to become a software engineer? Is it easy to learn? So when you look at ease of learning, we filtered software engineering out because it takes you well over 1 year or thereabout of constant dedication and commitment to learn software engineering and transition into the space. But you don't want to spend so much time learning a new skill and transitioning. So this is where the criteria became very important to us. So these 8 career paths, and I want you to take a note of these 8 career paths because we're coming to it in the next 2 slides. After completing this analysis, we decided to look out, are there other reputable organizations that have put out reports that aligns with what we've done, the analysis we've done. And we looked at the World Economic Forum Future of Jobs report. And I tell people this: if you're a professional trying to transition and you don't look at the World Economic Forum, you are doing yourself a disservice, and you are likely going to get into a career path that you would likely regret in the future. So what the World Economic Forum shows you are two key areas. The left-hand side right here are the jobs that are growing in demand, and the right-hand side are jobs that are declining. So would you want to get into a career path that is declining in demand? The answer is no. So if you don't know the career path that are growing or that will keep on growing in the next 5 to 10 years, how do you select the right career path? And that's why the World Economic Forum Future of Jobs report became very important as one of the major resources that we also use. So we needed to see that the analysis we were doing, we're not doing it in isolation, and it made sense. If I'm getting into data analytics or data science, I can see that the economy, the world economy, would also be getting towards that area. These are the career paths that would grow in demand. One major thing I want to highlight here in the career path that are declining is the product management role. So a lot of people, product management is a buzz. People want to get into product management. It's a great career path, but according to the World Economic Forum, it's going to nosedive in the future. It's going to decline in terms of its relevance in the future. All right. So you don't want to get into a career path just to realize that you need to transition 2-3 years down the line. So the focus for us are the career path that will grow in demand. And of course, number one, you'd see AI and machine learning specialists. And when you see the AI machine learning, what career path are you looking at? The data science ecosystem. You'd see the business intelligence analyst. The business intelligence analyst is a data analyst. As a data analyst, you can do the job of a business intelligence analyst. You'd also clearly see the data analyst and the data scientist. So this is number one in terms of the top 5 career paths that will grow in demand. So if I'm going to make a decision today to transition, to change my current career path into something that is more flexible, something that will give me the opportunity to work hybrid, work from home, go maybe 3 days in the office, 2 days from home, and so on and so forth. I want to look at these career paths where I'll still remain relevant in the future. Then you also look at the information security analyst, and these are your cybersecurity professionals, right? Information security. So here you're protecting systems, protecting data, protecting the network. Then you also have the big data specialists, the data engineers, and the database architects. These are the professionals that manage the data that organizations generate. How do you manage and store that data and ensure that it is easily accessible? So as a big data specialist, as a data engineer, as a database architect, you play the role of a data engineer. And your objective is to manage, store, and make the data accessible to anybody who needs to use that data. So if you're in a data engineering role, you are in a fantastic career path. Then you also have the process automation specialist, and these are the business analysts. The business analysts are the professionals who ensures that within an organization, the processes are optimized. How do we start and where does it end? Where are the gaps in between? How do we cover those gaps? So we have efficient processes, and the organization can also become more efficient to make more money and reduce losses. And of course, you also have the project managers tilted towards the agile project managers, the scrum masters. You have the database and network professionals. These are still your data engineers, your cybersecurity analysts. And then you have the financial analysts. So based on the World Economic Forum, it's very clear how you need to make your decision or what decision to make. Part of the career path that will decline is the accounting and the auditing role. So if you're an accountant and auditor, in the nearest future, the next 5 years, your career path would take a nosedive in its relevance. But how do you still stay relevant? That's the question. How do you move from the right-hand side to the left-hand side? And any accountant or any auditor can easily become a financial analyst. What is that secret sauce you need to take into consideration? Data skills. So if you add data skills to your accounting, your auditing skills, you definitely would become a financial analyst, because financial analysts are professionals. They are data analysts that focuses on financial records. You analyze the financial records to advise the company, analyze the financial health of the company, look for areas to optimize costs for the company, and so on and so forth. So these are the areas where you have opportunities, the areas that will grow in demand. The World Economic Forum is a body comprising of the world governments, okay? You have the politicians, your top influencers, and the rest. The captains of industries, they shape where the world would be. So when you see AI and machine learning as number one on the list, you realize that it didn't happen by chance. It's properly calculated, and this is the next phase of the digital revolution across the globe. So you clearly see where is relevant and how to transition. And my question to you, looking at all the 8 career paths I have shown you today, which of these career paths are you interested in? Type into the chat. Somebody said someone's video is on. Sorry about that, guys. Please, if your video is on, I'll just turn it off. My colleagues are on the call. Please, to avoid distractions, ensure your video is off, okay? But let's let me hear from you. Which of these career paths are you interested in? The data analyst, the data science, data engineering, cybersecurity? Type into the chat and let's get to see. Okay, Treasure says data analyst. Gift says business analyst, cybersecurity, data analyst all the way. Headers. That's interesting. Felix says business analyst or data analyst. Okay, I love this question. Olivia is saying, what you're saying sounds really good, but how easy is it to get these jobs as a data analyst? I'll show you, okay, with evidence of not just the fact that I've been a data analyst for the last 10 years, all right? Other people that we have also taken with no experience, customer service, care worker, to become data analyst, business analyst with visa-sponsored jobs. But the most important thing is, how did they apply? How did they get those jobs? And why do people struggle to get jobs? Okay, we're going to decipher that today before we wrap up. One other major misconception people have is, as a data analyst, I only apply to jobs as a data analyst, but that's a big mistake. As a data analyst, you can work as a sales analyst, you can work as a business intelligence analyst, as a market data analyst, as a database administrator, database analyst, and so on and so forth. So one of the major mistakes people make is they do just a rough, narrowed search of the data analyst role. But where are the other opportunities? What other roles can I search for and get those jobs? We've had participants get jobs as benefits analyst, and I'll share them with you. Benefits analyst, pathology data analyst, pathology data analyst, all right? And the most important thing is to look at the job description. What does this job require? What key skills do they want me to have? And you apply to those jobs. I'll give you the story of a lady who joined our HR analytics program in July. The HR analytics program is for 4 months. Now, 1 month into the program, she had started applying to jobs. She had an interview. We prepared her for the interview. And she was worried that, oh, Adisa, I don't think I'm ready for this job. Okay. She got the job as a program evaluation analyst. Now, what does our role entail? The job description only required somebody who had the knowledge of Excel. And 1 month into the program, she had completed her Excel classes. So she was confident to do all the things they needed her to do during the recruitment phase using Excel. And she got the job with the government of Saskatchewan as a program evaluation analyst. And what was she required to do? Deploy survey to people living with disability, collect data around the programs the government have for the people living with disability, analyze that data, and tell us the programs that are performing well and the programs that are not performing well. Okay? And this was the job she was able to get. And this is a classic story of you looking at the job requirements and realize that I know Excel. This job requires analysis with Excel. Even though I have 4 months to go and I've completed only 1 month, I can apply to this job. And that's the story of a professional who got a job. She got this job in August this year in Canada with the government of Saskatchewan, working for them as a program evaluation analyst. So it's important not to be fixated on just the job title. Oh, data analyst, I can't get another job beyond the data analyst job title. I personally have worked as an MIS analyst. And people would wonder, what does MIS analyst mean? Management Information Systems Analyst. All right. So you must always look at the job requirements. As a cybersecurity professional, you can work as a cybersecurity analyst, a security architect, a penetration tester, a network security engineer, a SOC analyst, security operations center analyst, and so on and so forth. And this is where we show you how to apply, what to consider before you go on and apply. Okay, and as we move on, I'll give you the steps. But currently, a lot of people are always at an inflection point. Okay, at an inflection point of not knowing what to do, the decision to take. What should I do? What shouldn't I do? All right. So most people are always here and they are stuck at that point. The inflection point is where you do all the analysis, and you get paralyzed, analysis paralysis. Or do I do data analytics? Oh, I'm not sure I'll get a job. Oh, I know somebody who has been applying, they've not gotten jobs. So I don't think I should do the same because I'm not going to get a job. And you realize that you've spent so much time still at this point without taking a decision. I was speaking with a lady about 3 days ago who eventually paid to join our November cohort. Now, she has been joining sessions like this, our tech series, our clarity sessions, for the last 4 months, since June. She joined in June, July, August, September, and she also joined in October before she decided to join the cohorts that would start in November. So it took her 5 months to make a decision. And that's 5 months wasted. If she had started in June, by now, she should have wrapped up her program, applied, probably gotten a job, but she's just going to start in November. And that's where most people are at this inflection point. Now, a lot of time, most of the time, people get into the wrong horse and they get themselves derailed. And I'll tell you what derails a lot of people from making the transition from whatever career path into the career path you want to move into. The best pathway is from this inflection point, you are able to get into the tech ecosystem before it is too late. Okay, the best time to start was probably 10 years ago when I started. The next best time to start is now. All right, organizations keep on hiring tech professionals, data professionals. How do you become one of those professionals to get hired? And don't fall into the area where you keep on analyzing, never take a decision, and eventually you fall into the wrong horse and you get yourself derailed. And I'll tell you what derails a lot of people and why they struggle at this inflection point. Number one is people chase certifications rather than the skills and experience. So for the person who asked me, Adisa, what you're saying sounds really good, but I know somebody who has been trying to get a job, but they can't get a job. Most of the time, people chase certifications rather than the skills and experience. There is something we call this at analytics. We have a quote that says competence over credentials. Competence over credentials. Pardon my handwriting, guys. Let me write it properly, okay? Competence over credentials. I don't have enough space, but pardon me. Now, what does this mean? And I always ask people this question. I'm going to ask you guys the question. You have two carpenters, carpenter A, carpenter B. Carpenter A, carpenter B. Carpenter A you want to buy a couch. Carpenter A can create that couch for you. But carpenter A only has a certificate to show that he can create the couch. Nothing else. Oh, I just have a certificate to show that I can build the couch. Carpenter B has a showroom that has a lot of couches. You can go into the showroom, touch the couch, feel the couch, and know the type of couch you'd like to buy. The question is, who do you give that job to? Do you give it to the person that has a certificate that shows that they've gone to carpentry school, who is carpenter A? Or do you give it to carpenter B, who has a showroom to prove that they have built couches, you can touch and feel the quality? Type into the chat, carpenter A or carpenter B. Okay, Temitope says carpenter B. Type into the chat. Let me get to hear from you. Carpenter B, carpenter B. Absolutely. Everybody would choose carpenter B because you want to see what you'd love to buy. You want to buy quality. You want to go into the showroom and see what to buy. But why do you chase certifications that have no way of showing what you can do? And that's what a lot of people do. There is no proof that they can do all the things they say they can do. All they have is a CV and paper certificates. For us, it is competence over credentials. And your competence is a combination of two things: your skills and your experience. You can learn skills in class, you can learn skills anywhere, but how do you gain experience? I'll be talking to you about that, how to gain experience, how to learn, not just learn to become a business analyst, but do the job of a business analyst. Okay? Everybody would choose the carpenter B, and that's why you can't afford to chase paper rather than chasing the skills and the experience. You've written all the certifications possible, but you still cannot get a job. Employers don't care about your certifications anymore because they know that people can write certification exams for you and so many things. An examination does not determine how good you are with that particular job role. So the second thing people find very challenging is they join training programs that are not project-based and don't have internships. The majority of the people joining us are people who have done training somewhere else, but they know all the terms, the terminologies, the technical jargons. But when you say that, okay, this is Excel, take Excel, do this, do you have a portfolio, build a dashboard? They really can't do anything because they've never done it before. As a business analyst, write a business case. How do you map out? How do you map a process? How do you use Jira as a tool to track deliverables? You can't answer that question because you have never done it before. And most people find themselves here. So they know all the technical jargons, they can write exams and get 95%, but they join training programs that are not project-based, meaning that you don't get to work on projects, you don't build your experience doing that job rather than reading the job. All right, and you must always have internships where you get to work with other people. As a business analyst, you work with a project manager, you work with a software developer. And these are the things Analytics brings into play. And I'll share that with you. So for the person who asked the question, why do people find it challenging to get jobs? These are the reasons. Number 3 is a whole lot of beginners start with YouTube They start with Coursera and so on. But that's one of the biggest mistakes you'd make. I use YouTube, I do Coursera, I do Udemy as a professional, not as a beginner. As a beginner, you want to have a solid background. You want to join a structured learning approach. You want to have a structured learning approach where you know what to learn first. The next thing, you know how to climb the ladder step by step until you get to where you need to get to. You don't want to watch one YouTube video here, tomorrow you're watching another one, and your learning is all over the place. This is what I've seen so many people do. It's a big mistake. Number 4 is no employability skills. And I think this is the biggest one. All right? This is the biggest. So a lot of people assume wrongly that the skills you need to get a job is to be the best in the use of a particular tool. So if you're a data scientist, you are the best in the use of Python. You can use VS Code or Jupyter Notebook to write all your codes. That would not get you the job. The lady who got a job 1 month into the program only knew Microsoft Excel. She had not done Power BI, she had not done SQL, just Microsoft Excel. But how do you get that job? You need to have the right CV. You need to have the right LinkedIn profile. You need to have interviewing skills. When you're asked questions that are competency-based, tell me about a time you have used this to do that. These are competency-based questions. And your competency-based questions carries the highest marks during interviews. They carry the highest marks. So questions like, tell me about a time you have built a machine learning model using the SVM algorithm, the support vector machines algorithm. What did you consider before you selected that algorithm? Now, if you've never done this before in the real world, you would struggle to answer that question. Or they ask you questions like, tell me about a time as a business analyst, you've optimized the process. How did you ensure you were able to manage a difficult stakeholder while working on that project? If you haven't done it before, you'd struggle to answer those type of questions. So your interviewing skills, your employability skills, you could have the best skills that are technical. You are good with Excel, good with Python, good with Tableau and the rest, SQL, but you can't communicate your experience. You can't sell yourself during interviews. Your interview is a sales pitch. You are the product and you are going there to sell yourself. So that's why I say that I dare say this is even the most important when it comes to people struggling to get jobs. Now, you also have instances where people don't know how to apply and they don't know where to apply. Where to apply is, this is, it will sound a bit strange to people. Oh, I can go on LinkedIn and apply. Or I can go on Glassdoor, I can go on read.co.uk. But that's not where you'd find the type of jobs you are looking for. You want a job that would sponsor you. Most organizations today would not put visa sponsorship on their job adverts. So where do you apply to jobs? All right. So most of the time, you have to apply on platforms or job boards that are paid. You have to pay a subscription. Okay, UK Visa Jobs, for example, Visa Jobs HQ, for example, JobRite. These are platforms where you have to pay to use them. They have all the jobs collated from different organizations that are ready to sponsor you. So if you don't know where to apply, there is no way you'd get those jobs. Another very important thing is people don't know how to apply. And what does that mean? If you're in the UK, for example, so I'll see people saying, Adisa, I've been applying, I haven't gotten a job, I haven't gotten an interview. What do I need to do? To get a job in the UK, in the tech ecosystem, you must have applied to a minimum of 249 jobs. A minimum of 249 jobs. This simply means if you take out your weekends and you only want to apply during the week, or you take out your weekdays and you only want to apply during the weekend, you must be looking to apply to between 15 to 25 jobs every single day. And this also means that you're not applying the conventional way other people apply. You take one CV, apply to 100 jobs. No, you take your CV, you tailor that CV, and then you put in the application. If you do that, your level of success would increase from about 40% to 80%. So you would always get those interviews. And when you get your interview, that's where Tenalytics comes in. We do what? We prepare you for those interviews. Just imagine you have interview for a data science role, all right? I've worked a data scientist role. I have worked as a data scientist for at least the last 8 years, as a data analyst for the last 10 years. All I need to do is to look at the job requirements, and I can tell you categorically the questions you need to prepare for, how to prepare for those questions, how to prepare your answers, the framework to use to prepare for those questions, and so on and so forth. So you have professionals that will prepare you for those exams, and that's where you increase your chances of getting the jobs. So like I said, the technical is not where the problem is. There are a lot of people that appear to have the technical skills, but there are so many people that have zero employability skills, and that's where they struggle to get those jobs. You hear people talk about Canadian work experience, UK work experience. What does it mean? It means nothing. Okay, we have participants who got jobs from Nigeria and they came to Canada. They got their jobs before they even came into Canada. So there was zero Canadian knowledge, zero Canadian experience, nothing. Same with the UK, zero experience is nothing. So how do you start to understand what that could mean? Canadian experience can simply mean the way you approach the interview. So when you get into the room, a lot of people, because they are nervous, they're just waiting for the interview to start, all right? But you want to show confidence. And how do you show confidence? You show confidence during the interview. Before you start, hello, oh, the weather seems a bit cold today. Winter is coming. How is the weather, where you stay? You start with small talk. Oh, the other day I was going through LinkedIn and I saw some pictures from a team bonding activity that you had. Do you always have team bonding activities regularly? Well, tell me a little bit about it. You start with small talk. It shows confidence, and these are the people you'll be working with. So you must show that you are likable and you are somebody who would want to, get into that. All right. So that's something you want to ensure that you take into consideration. When you talk about Canadian work experience, you talk about UK work experience and so on, you have to know how to apply, how to approach the interview and so on. If you're not doing 249 jobs on the average, where you're applying to a minimum of 15 to 25 jobs, you would keep on complaining that I can't get a job, because you're not doing enough. And it's not just about the volume, it is quality volume. So you must know how and where to apply, all right? So where does Tenalytics come in all of this? These are the problems, the challenges people face. How do we help you to succeed? It's a simple 6 steps practical approach. And these are the steps that have helped numerous people. And I'm going to show you just a snippet of a few people who have been able to go through this path, and today they are doing fantastically well where they are. Number one is identify the skills you need to learn. Okay, the skills you are interested in. Interest is number one. Interest is where you want to be. You want to know what you want to do. All right. So many of you, you've typed, somebody the other time typed, I want to become a data analyst all the way. Data analyst all the way. All right. So you want to become a data analyst all the way, you must have that interest to get started. Once you know what you want to do, cybersecurity, agile project management, the next thing is you start to learn that skill. You start to educate yourself, and you want to get into a program that will give you the capacity to learn in a structured learning environment. So this is where you build your technical skills. okay? You start learning the technical skills. Very, very important. Once you've identified the career path, you start to learn. And remember, you want to join a learning partner, an organization that will give you internship, an organization that will also ensure that you work on projects. It's a project-based way of learning. Once you've done this, you must gain project-based experience. So when I talked about competence, so I'm coming back to this. When I talked about competence and I talked about skills and experience, you don't have to work in an office to gain experience. You don't have to gain employment to gain experience. You can gain experience by working on what? Projects. So you gain project-based experience. So while you're working in class, for every single thing you are doing, you are learning the VLOOKUP. How does it apply in the real world of work? So you must work on projects. And those projects must have somewhere you document them, which is your portfolio. All right. So as you learn, you must also ensure that your learning is project-based so that you can work practically. What does it take to do the job of a HR analyst? You know, and you can get started in doing them. All right. Once you've done this, the next step is to do what? Build your employability skills. I talked about this, your CV, your LinkedIn, how to apply, where to apply, interviewing skills. And this is where we come in. We help you review your CV. You have sessions on CV review sessions, how to tailor your CV to job requirements. You have LinkedIn optimization sessions that will show you how to optimize your LinkedIn profile in a way that you are attractive to organizations out there. All right. How do you interview? We have interview prep sessions. Okay. So when I log into the LMS and I show you, when you have an interview, all you need to do is go in there, click on schedule interview appointments. Somebody would come on the call, work with you, look at the job requirements, and simulate a mock interview session with you. So you know exactly what to expect during your interview prep sessions. And this is very, very key. If you don't have the employability skills, you have the technical skills, you only have 50% of what it takes to get that job. And you can never get any job with 50%. Once you've gained your employability skills, you want to be part of a platform that would enable you to network. And this takes me to my second story. We have a participant, his name is Steven. Steven joined our data analytics and data science program. So he joined data analytics when he was a customer service professional in the UK. He transitioned from customer service to data analyst, okay, with the Access Group in the UK. He came back because he wanted to upskill further. He did our data science program, completed the program, and got another job as a senior data analyst with Hastings Direct in Glasgow, Scotland. Now, after getting this new job, the recruitment consultant reached out to him to recommend 2 other people. And do you know what Steven did? He reached out to me and said, they said I should recommend 2 people. Let me know who I can recommend. And I sent him 2 CVs of our participants who, because the job was location specific, they wanted somebody in either Aberdeen, Glasgow, or Edinburgh. Okay, so we got 2 people from I think one was in Edinburgh, the other one was in Aberdeen, and both of them applied, they were interviewed, and they also got the job. That is the power of networking, being in the community of people that can help you transition, people that can bring opportunity to your doorstep. And Tenalytics is one place you want to be. You want to have access to those type of opportunities. And finally, you must also have mentors. We have mentorship sessions every Thursdays. So every Thursdays, you have either myself, the co-founder, we bring in other professionals, and you have somebody hand-holding you, showing you what to do, how to build in public, what you need to take note of, what the trends are in the industry, and so on and so forth. Okay, I'm going to come back to the paid sites. I'll show you a few of the paid sites that you need to take note of. Okay, so drop Okay, I'm just looking at comments, reading comments in the chat. Ademola says, I've joined like 4 months, and Adisa is very convincing. It's worth giving a try. Ademola, you're one of those people that have been joining since January, but never, take a decision. So it's taking the decision is the most difficult part of things you need to do. All right. So you give it a go. If you don't try, you fail 100%. You don't transition 100%. If you try, you give yourself a 50% chance of getting it right. Okay. Blessing said, I just joined today. Blessing, is good to have you on board. I have been applying but haven't gotten a job. All right. So I'm sure some of the things I've been talking about, Blessing, applies to perhaps some of the things you've been doing. And these are the things I'll show you, the things that you'll be doing to ensure you are able to start getting those offers. But welcome on board, Blessing. I just joined today too. Peace. Absolutely fantastic. We're looking forward to starting with you later today. Olivia, I answered your question. I said I'll show you the paid sites. We're getting there. So don't fret, we'll get to where I'll show you the paid sites and how you can take advantage of them. Now, the beauty about what we do at Analytics is we've paid for all these subscriptions where you get those sponsored jobs. Or a typical student in the UK barely scrapes by every month, taking care of bills and all of that. So applying to job sites because you want to get sponsored jobs is an additional cost. So what we do as part of your package is we apply to these websites and we get these jobs and we send them across to you. So every single day, you know where to apply and you don't have to go out there to make those payments yourself. Okay. So taking the 6 steps, how do you apply it practically? And this is what I'll show you right now. So let's take Victoria, for example. Victoria is a customer service professional and she wants to transition into a data analyst role. At Analytics, you have a blended learning approach. Blended learning. And what does it mean? You don't come to class every single day. You don't come to class every Saturday and Sunday. You have classes on Saturdays. Your live classes are on Saturdays. And for the rest of the week, you are on the LMS watching your videos in a self-paced environment. Okay, and I'll show you what that looks like. This is very important because you have people who are students, people who currently have jobs, and they don't want to always be in class all the time. So you have the opportunity to watch your videos at your own convenience. So I'll show you what the platform looks like. When you sign up, you come into the website, you log in, hi Adisa, you go to your dashboard, and you have access to the program that you've registered for. It's a one-stop shop for every single thing that you need. So depending on the program you've joined, so you'd see, welcome back Adisa, always stay updated and all of that. So depending on the program, say you joined the business analysis or you joined the data analytics, you click on continue learning and you have access to all your materials. So once you join your live session on a Saturday, where you have the opportunity to interact with a trainer like myself and other professionals, Sunday, Monday, at your own convenience, you can watch videos on your LMS. Okay, so you come in here, dashboard and data storytelling. You come in here and you can watch your videos. Okay, dashboard slices. So let's click on this and see. So this is where you get to practice on your own at your own pace, and you don't have to always join a live class all the time. So this is where you're building a dashboard using Excel, and you are following what you are watching on your LMS. This is Femena, the co-founder of Analytics. He's the one walking you through this particular exercise. Now, for every single thing you learn, you also have extra case studies. And these case studies are the things that help you not just learn the technical, but also know what to do when you find yourself on the job. All right. So you get to watch your videos. You also have the opportunity to book your interview slot. Like I said, if you have an interview coming up, at the top right corner right here, you'd see interview prep. Schedule appointments. This takes you to you're in the data analytics program of full stack data science or data engineering, you select the program, click on next, you click on the link, which will take you to a calendar where you get to select the date that is favorable to you. You pick your timing and you enter your name, you enter your email, you enter the details of the job, and then you schedule your event. Absolutely fantastic. And somebody will jump on a call with you to prepare you for that interview. Now, before I leave this platform, because this is the LMS, your learning management system, you have access to this every single day, and it's lifetime access. So you don't lose access even when you're done with the program. You are a part of the community. You can always come in, log in, have access to your materials. Now, we launched an AI feature called Oluko. We launched this recently. Oluko is our AI trainer, okay? Just like your chat GPT, but this is tailored to help you do the job, okay? So you come into Oluko. For those who are Yoruba, you know what Oluko means. Oluko means teacher. So this is the Tenalytics AI trainer. So if I come in here and type my name, Adisa, okay? Submit. Oluko would say, hello, Adisa. My name is Oluko, which stands for teacher. I'm your personal AI trainer designed by Tenalytics. What do you want to do? So Oluko helps you with career-related questions, interview preparations, your course content explanation, or your code-based issues. Let's say I have an issue writing a code. I come in here and click code-based issues. Oluko would ask me, oh, getting started in coding using SQL or Python can be difficult. Using Excel, Power BI, or Tableau can be challenging. Please drop your concerns below. So let's say I'm trying to write a query in SQL and I'm not sure. So I type, I am not sure how to use the where clause and the having clause. Okay, so I'm writing SQL queries. I'm not sure what to do. I don't know when to use where, and I don't know when to use having. And I send this to Oluko. Just like ChatGPT, it would give you detailed response. When do you use the where clause? The where clause and the having clause are both used in SQL. And the where clause, it tells you what the where clause does. It tells you what the having clause does. And I can say, I hope this answers your question. Let's say, no, it doesn't. Okay, no, it doesn't. All right, let's start a new chat and say, tell me exactly how, give me examples on how I can use the where clause. So I'll say, give me examples on how to use the where and the having clause. Okay, so you don't need to go to Stack Overflow. You don't need to go to ChatGPT. Oluko does everything for you. It has been trained using the latest GPT-4, and you have examples of how to use the where clause. You have the example. You can copy this code. You can paste it on your Postgre. You can post it on your different database management systems to run the queries. All right, and this is how Oluko works for you. You have a reference, you need a reference letter. After getting an offer, you can request for a reference letter right here. You can track the jobs you apply to. So you have a job tracker, you have a job board, you have all the things you need in this one-stop shop. Now, this is the LMS, your learning management, self-paced. This is not a live class. This is where you come at your own convenience to practice and do things. Now you have your live classes. Your live classes, let's go to the class that started in October. We had a cohort that started on the 5th of October. So let's go to business analysis. So you have an understanding of what the live classes look like, okay? So on the 10th, this was a session. This was the last class they had. The second live class was a practical case study on Excel dashboard. Okay, the beauty about the live class is even if you miss a class, The class recording is available for you to access at any time. Okay, so if on a Saturday you miss this class, you can come back here, watch the recording, and every single thing you do in your live class is what? Project-based. Remember, I talked about the importance of joining a program that is project-based. So you have a case study for a company called Protech Supplies. You've been hired as a junior business analyst. What are you meant to do? You have KPIs you are meant to measure. Total revenue, profit, quantity sold, total orders, average order value. What is the business problem or the business requirement? You read all of this, and together with your trainer in class, you are solving this problem for this company called Protech Supplies and helping them answer the questions. So let's say you missed this class, like I said, you come back here, you have access, you watch your recording, you see this is the case study, you can see that, you come in here and watch everything that happened in class, how the questions that were asked, what was done, and so on. So you get to see every single thing and you can follow along. So you haven't missed anything at all, even if you miss a live class, okay? You have the opportunity to stop your trainer, ask questions. What did you do? I've tried the same thing. I can't get it. And you have that real-time feedback. So you have all of that. That's the second class they had. The first class, Introduction to Data Analytics and Business Analysis. Also, you have a case study. All your classes are what? Case study based. And this is the only way you are able to build experience. All right? All these projects you work on, one after the other, you build a portfolio to warehouse that portfolio. So once you have a blended learning approach, you must also have that showroom. The showroom, like a carpenter who can build that couch you want to buy. You want that showroom. You want people to see what you've built so they can go into your showroom, touch and feel, and know the quality of what they're buying. So when you say organizations would not hire you, do you have a portfolio on your LinkedIn profile? Do you have your portfolio link on your CV? If you don't, then nobody would know how good you are. All right. So let's see what these portfolios look like very quickly. I'll show you one because of time. Okay. So let's see. Let's go to this portfolio. All right. This is Gad Nwachukwu, Gad August. Gad's joined our data engineering program. So it doesn't matter the program you join, data analytics, data engineering, data science, you must have a portfolio to show what you've done. This is the only way you can convince a potential employer they are the right person for the job. Remember, you haven't worked in an office, but you have experience. How do you show that experience? Your portfolio. Okay, so let's look at one of the projects. This is a project, energy efficient residential building analysis that he built. So every single project you work on, this is the topic, okay? He built a recommendation model for houses and how they can optimize their energy efficiency, the objective, the data set, the models he used, and so on. I can go to his Python codes and see what he has written. If I click on his notebook, and any recruiter, any employer that sees this, they can access this the same way. If you fill the attendance form, you're going to receive my slide. So you'd also have the opportunity to go into Gad's portfolio and see all the things he's done. The same thing I'm showing you. So I can see his Python codes. And this is me literally wanting to buy a couch, going into IKEA, going into the showroom and looking at the couch, touching the couch, feeling the couch, seeing the quality before I go ahead and buy. And this is what you must have if you want to get a job. Okay, so this is where you must build your portfolio. All right, so you have Victoria. Victoria is a data analyst. Lemuel is a business analyst. So even as a business analyst, you also have your own portfolio. So the projects you work on in class, your capstone, your internship, you build a portfolio like this. So people can come in here, they can click and see what you built. So this is Unilever's canteen ordering system built by Lemuel. Okay, so you can see what the problem statement is with the current state, the objective of this project. What did they do? You have a business case. What does the business case look like? Before you start any project, there must always be a business case. How did you analyze your stakeholders? Okay, how do you rank your stakeholders using the RACI matrix and so on and so forth? All right, so these are the things you want to show to employers that will give them the confidence that you can do the job. If you can't show this, you really don't want to get that job. All right, then you have your employability skills. We've talked about this extensively. We do your CV revamp, show you how to revamp your CV, tailor your CV to job requirements, your LinkedIn optimization, and how to navigate the job market, interview prep. I showed you how to book that on the LMS. Once you get a job offer, your reference, Tenalytics is not your training company. Tenalytics is the company you worked for. So all our participants are either consultants or contractors with Tenalytics. Okay, so when you join, part of your work experience would be Tenalytics. You have on-the-job support. So you get a job, you need support, we work with you to ensure you're able to do that. And of course, you have the opportunity to network. And every Thursdays, like I said, you have your mentorship sessions. This is where you see me all the time. You see Efemena, the co-founder. We bring in other industry experts to speak with you and show you exactly what you need to do, the mistakes you are making, and you have that one-to-one opportunity to ask questions. And this is what gets you the job. Okay, so I've said a lot of things, and it always seems impossible. Like the lady that's sent in the chat the other time, are there people that have gotten jobs? Can I get a job as well? It seems a bit difficult to get jobs and so on and so forth. How can I do it? Are there people that have done it? So I'm going to share some success stories with you, play a few videos for you to also get to see professionals that joined free classes like this. And from here, they were at that inflection point where they were not sure, what do I do next? But they decided to join, and today they have transitioned into the ecosystem. This is Lois. Lois, her video is very dramatic. So you'd see all the excitement and enthusiasm because Lois was an accountant, and a procurement specialist back in Nigeria. She had zero experience in tech. She joined our business analysis program and she was able to secure a job as a project manager. This is very interesting. She joined business analysis, BA, but she got a job as a project manager. How is this even remotely possible? Yes, it's possible because as a business analyst, you're going to learn project initiation planning. Project initiation planning. You're going to learn Agile and Scrum for projects. These are the Agile methodology. Scrum is a framework from the Agile methodology. You'd learn this for projects. You'd learn the software development lifecycle, SDLC. You'd learn how to use tools like Jira to track project deliverables. So even as a project manager, there is a component of, as a business analyst rather, there is a component of project management. And that was how Lois was able to get this job. But listen to Lois herself. I want you to listen to Lois. It's a very short video. I'm going to play the video. You hear all the things Lois said, how she was able to make the transition. Okay? I have all the links on my slide, so you'd have the opportunity to go back and watch these videos over and over again. Okay? But make sure you fill the attendance form so that you receive all the materials. So sit back, relax, and let's listen to what Lois has to say, how she moved from our business analysis training to project management.
Hi guys, my name is Lois. I joined Analytic Business Analysis class in November 2023 with zero knowledge of BA, even though I was doing my master's at the time, which was focused on the management part of business analysis, not the techniques, tools, or even the requirements. I am so excited, as you can see, because guys, I just landed my first tech job as a project manager. Let me tell you a bit about my journey. So before I joined Analytics, I was an accountant and a procurement expert. So I didn't even know anything about tech. Analytics was my first exposure to core BA training, and I learned so much. Things like SDLC, requirement elicitation, process mapping, project initiation and planning. And even apart from the BA training, they also helped me to develop myself through a lot of mentorship sessions that built me up in interview preparation, LinkedIn optimization, a day in the life as a BA, job search strategy, CV optimization, negotiation like a pro, career transitioning. Guys, it was a lot of value. I also ensured that I was actively involved in class. I mean, who didn't know Lois in the cohort? But after my training, I waited to complete my master's because I couldn't work full-time while studying. I then had my career plan mapped out, and my first goal was to get a job in a student-focused role because of personal reasons, and then transition to be a project manager. I mean, BA and PM are so relatable, and there were more project management roles in my city. So immediately I finished my studies, I leveraged on the CV skill, the interview skill that I had been taught to land my first job in the university in a student-focused role. And guess what? 6 months later, exactly 6 months later, I landed the job I'm talking about now as a project manager, doubled the salary. So thank you, Tenalysis. I'm so happy to be in the tech space, and I encourage everyone that want to upskill, that want to have a refresher course to please do what? Join Tenalysis and be like me, because I mean, who doesn't want the money? Who doesn't want the skill? Who doesn't want to be in the tech space? So join Tenalysis.
I warned you guys that Lois is very dramatic, but that's Lois, who is a procurement professional, no tech experience, joined business analysis, and became a project manager. Now, what we advise people to do is not to apply to one specific type of role. I mentioned that at the beginning. You must always look at the job requirements. Do I meet the requirement? Do I have the skills these people are looking for? So even if it's a project management role, as a business analyst, you know project initiation, you know Agile for project, the Agile methodology, the Scrum framework, you know this SDLC, you can use Jira to track deliverables, you can use Trello to manage tasks and professionals to ensure that you know there are no gaps within the task and responsibilities assigned. You can use Confluence for your collaboration. And these are the things that help somebody like Lois. You also have Ngozi Aderemi. Ngozi also recently got a job as well in the UK. Had no experience. She was in customer service. She always worked as a customer service professional. And I can play all the videos, but I'm not going to bore you with too many videos. Ngozi's video is like maybe 60 seconds or less. But let's listen to Ngozi as well. And then I'll come back and we start to wrap up the rest of the session. So what websites do you need to apply to? What are those sites that you can take advantage of, make payments if you want to go ahead and make payments, or join Analytics, where we have made all the subscriptions and we make these jobs available to you. But let's listen to Ngozi very quickly, and then we come back to start taking your questions and wrapping up the rest of our session. So sit back, relax, listen to Ngozi.
Hi, my name is Ngozi Aderemi. For a long time, I've been looking for a working from home kind of job. So I did my business analysis training with Tenalytics, and guess what? After my training, I started looking for a job, trying to get a working from home job, and now I got one. I just want to encourage you as a student of Tenalytics, or maybe you're aspiring to join Tenalytics for training. It's very good because when you're done, you will get a working from home job. Thank you.
So that's Ngozi, short, straight to the point, and so many other professionals. Ololade joined us for the purpose of getting her permanent residency in Canada. And we helped her with our applications. We provided a reference for her and so on. And this is Ololade saying, Adisa, I would like to appreciate you and your help with the referral for my Canada PR application. It's with great joy that I inform you that my application was successful and I'm now a PR holder. Ololade is now in Calgary, Canada, moving from Nigeria to Canada through the permanent residency route, okay? You have Bukola, who is in Poland. Bukola joined our data science program and got a job as a people data scientist in June this year. She completed her program in January. By June, she got a job as a people data scientist and so many other professionals. Joel works as a data engineer, working remotely from Nigeria for a company in the US. Vivian joined our data science program, got a job. Her first job was in France, where she was working remotely for a company in France. Then in April this year, she moved to the UK and landed her second job as an associate manager, data and business analytics in the UK. The videos are there. You get to listen to these professionals. Oluwadamilare got a job as a sustainability data analyst working in Leeds in the UK after completing our data analytics program. You have Ikmat, who was a full-time stay-at-home mom. She completed a master's in the UK, got a job with the NHS as a data analyst. It came with full visa sponsorship, and Ikmat is doing a fantastic job with the NHS. And I always like to brag about this. Tenalytics has 55 alumni working with the NHS in the UK on visa-sponsored roles, from data analyst to business architects. You have Abigail. Abigail was a care worker in Canada. She joined our business analysis program, and Abigail landed a job as a business analyst with the government of Alberta, working in Canada as a business analyst. Tony was a pharmacist. She got a job with the NHS, also full visa sponsorship as a benefits analyst. I want you to listen to all these professionals. So when you ask the question, how are people getting jobs? The process is everything I've shown you so far. You learn this, you start by identifying the skill, learn the skill, build a project-based knowledge where you work on projects to build your experience, have a portfolio, ensure that you are networking, you have a platform that enables you to network, ensure that you also have mentors that can work with you. And that's where Tenalytics comes in. And most importantly, your interviewing skills. Ramat was also a customer service professional. She joined business analysis. She got a job with the NHS as a business architect with full visa sponsorship. Muideen works from Nigeria, works for a company in the UK called BDX. He got this job 2 months after completing our data analytics program. So Muideen lives in Ibadan, Nigeria, earns in pounds and spends in Naira, and so many other professionals. Abdul got a job as a data analyst working in the UK, and so many, okay? You would have the slides. I'm not going to bore you with too many testimonials, but this is to show you when you ask yourself the question, are people getting these jobs? It's a resounding yes. What do you need to do to get these jobs? Every single thing we've discussed from the inception up until this moment, those are the things you need to do. I've also kept additional videos for you where we've brought back professionals who come back to speak about their experience, their interview experience. So you can listen to this. Vivian came in here to talk about her experience. Stephen also came in here to talk about his experience, and so many other professionals where they talked about how I secured a job after training with Tenalytics. And I'm sure you get inspired from one of these videos. And there is also a list to the full testimonial list where you have access to listen to professionals who have done this and how you can also do the same. With the impact we've been having, I put this here purposely to, show you some strides we've been making. We moved from the UK a few months ago. We came into Canada to expand the tech ecosystem, getting more Black people, more Africans into the tech ecosystem. We recently got accepted into the Alberta Catalyzer Velocity program. And this is a program where they take innovative companies with the potential to go to the moon, to moonshot essentially. They take these companies and help them get to that next level. So we're in the Alberta Catalyzer Velocity program, where we want to ensure that we are able to bring more value to the Black community, to get more people into the tech ecosystem and help them land their dream jobs. And I've also kept the link right here, so you have access to read the post I made about this on LinkedIn. Okay, now when you look at the impacts in terms of people that have been getting jobs, from sponsored jobs to the NHS to different other type of jobs, the question is, where and how do you apply to get visa-sponsored jobs? Okay, so I did a session on this about 3 weeks to 1 month ago, and I've kept the link for you to watch the video, but I'll show you exactly some of the places you need to start looking at. If you're applying to the UK Gov, the gov.uk website, or you're applying to read.co, Glassdoor, LinkedIn, you are never going to find those jobs there. You would struggle to find those jobs, so don't waste your time, all right? So in the US, you want to get Visa Jobs HQ, but it is paid. For you to leverage this, you have to make payments, okay? And like I said earlier, what we've done at Analytics is to pay for these platforms. So we have access to the materials, we have access to the content, the jobs they post, and then we in turn send those jobs across to you. JobRite is another fantastic platform. If you're in the US and you don't know JobRite and you don't use JobRite, you might never just get that job that would petition a H-1B visa for you. So if you're looking for a H-1B visa, which would get your work permits to work in the US, stay back in the US, and you don't use JobRite, you would struggle. So I've kept the links to these websites. And I would also show you the link where you go to watch the video where I explained how to use these platforms one after the other. So for the lady who asked the other time, where are the websites? Okay, so these are the websites for those in the US. Of course, I also showed you how to use H-1B info, VisaDoor, and so on. For those in Canada, Visa Job HQ cuts across. Okay, Visa Job HQ is one of the platforms where you get access not just to jobs in the US and Canada and the UK, but across Europe and even Asia. All right. So these are the platforms you want to leverage. The LMIA list, I showed you how to use this list, where to get the list, how to leverage the list. The Job Bank, which is one of the resources from the government of Canada, you'd see how to leverage this as well for those in Canada. And finally, for those in the UK, which is where I would say you have, if you're in the UK and you're looking for sponsored jobs or any other type of job, there is no reason why you shouldn't get those jobs, because the resources you have in the UK far outweighs Canada, far by far, okay? And how do I know this? I've lived in the UK, I'm currently in Canada, and I can tell you categorically, the resources you have in the UK in terms of employment resources, it's incomparable to what you have in Canada. So there is no reason why you can't get or land a visa-sponsored jobs. UK Visa Jobs is another platform where you have access to get these jobs. UK Visa Jobs is one we use a whole lot. Okay, so watch the video. I've kept the link for you. I'll show you where the link is, and you'll see how I'll show you step by step. How do you use UK Visa Jobs, for example? It's paid. You have to pay to use it. But like I say, and I keep on saying, we have made those payments. You don't have to pay extra for those to subscribe. We provide you with those jobs and you go ahead and apply. Same with JobRite, same with Visa Job HQ and the rest. So you can take a screenshot of this page and you have access to these platforms. One other strategy you must deploy, if you are looking for something that is not common, you have to use uncommon strategies to find them, especially for those in Canada. You want to get jobs that will file an LMIA for you, a labor market impact assessment, which simply means these organizations would say hiring you would have either a neutral impact or a positive impact on the Canadian job market. If your LMIA has a negative impact, then you would not get that LMIA filed for you, and the employer would not hire you and give you the sponsorship, the work permits that you need. Okay, so for you to, apart from where you use the list I have shown you and the websites I have also shown you, the government of Canada's website, you want to leverage the top recruitment agencies that can find these jobs for you. You go to their websites, you create a profile, you upload your CV, and then you call them. Calling them to let them know that you are looking for these jobs and you know they can provide these jobs for you. You've created a profile and it's easy for them. It's a win-win for both parties. They are looking to recommend you because the higher the number of people they recommend, the more money they make. And you are also looking to get those jobs. So it's a match that aligns and fits the two parties at the end of the day. So it's important for you not just to apply on websites, even though they are paid websites, but take that extra step. Use the recruitment agencies like Cowan, for example, Outpost, Micropage, Hayes, Island Recruiting, Work Global, and so on. Reach out, create a profile on their website, upload your CV, call them and let them know your objective and what you are looking for. But I've also kept this link. I held this session about a month ago, okay? And this is where to find sponsorship jobs quickly in the UK, US, and Canada. And this gives you the opportunity to watch every single thing step by step. So the link is right there for you. So if you want to ensure that you get the slides at the end of today's session, make sure you fill the attendance form so that you don't miss out on these information. Okay, so we have about roughly 20 minutes to wrap up our session, and then I'll come take questions from you. So looking at the 8 career paths we discussed, one on the list is business analysis. And for you to get into business analysis, you must have the knowledge of Excel, Power BI, and SQL. As a business analyst, your job is to ensure that the processes in the organization are optimized. If it takes 5 days, 3 days to get something done, your question is, how can we reduce it to take just 5 minutes? Okay, so you must know how to map processes from start till finish. How does this process start and how does it end? And where are the gaps in between? Where are the manual processes and how do we automate those processes by implementing a new technology like an application or a software? But your first skill, your first module is the understanding of Excel, Power BI, and SQL. And this is your data skills. And this is what gives you the opportunity to apply to jobs as a business data analyst. Remember, you don't want to constrain yourself to only one type of job, just like Lois, who did business analysis, but got a job as a project manager. You want to extract as many possible opportunities to apply to more type of jobs. So you must start with Excel, Power BI, and SQL. Then process mapping. So how do you map a process from start till finish? Using tools like Lucid Charts and Draw.io, your diagramming tools to map out processes. How does the process start? How does it end? Then you move into your project management skills. What helped Lois to get that job as a business analyst, getting a job as a project manager? Studied business analysis with us, got a job as a project manager. You're going to learn project initiation planning, Agile and Scrum for projects, software development lifecycle, and these are the project skills, project management. You would learn how to use Jira to track deliverables on projects, Trello to manage your team and track their tasks and activities. And you'd also get to learn how to use Confluence to collaborate on projects. Okay, you'd learn requirement fundamentals, elicitation, stakeholder analysis and engagement, and finally, ChatGPT for business analysis. This is AI for business analysis. The program takes 4 months, 2 months in class and 2 months internship. The internship is where you get to work hands-on on a real-world project. All right? Your internship involves you working together with a software developer, the agile project manager. So you're going to work with the agile project manager, the software developer, the UI UX designer, and you have other stakeholders. So you'll be helping a company that has a manual HR process, a HR department. When people want to go on leave, they send emails. So it's pretty manual. I can't update my information because there is no HR management system. So you would help them manage a project to optimize that department, optimize their processes by building an employee self-service portal. It's a web application. So you'll be the business analyst on this project, and this is what enables you know what to do on day one when you find yourself in a business analysis role, all right? Your classes, your live classes are on Saturdays, and it doesn't matter where you are. If you're in the US, you're in the UK, you are in Nigeria, somewhere in Europe, similar time zones. Your classes on Saturdays are 11 to 2 p.m. All right? If you are in the US, Canada, similar time zones, your classes are 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Mountain Time. So what this simply means is, if I'm in the UK, for example, I can join a class 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. That's the class that is tailored to my time zone. However, if I'm busy in the morning, I can't join in the morning. I can join the class in the evening for the US and the Canada participants, which would be 6 p.m. my time. So it's either I join 11 to 2 or 6 to 9. I choose one based on my schedule. So it's pretty flexible for you to join a class. And on Sundays, you have your self-paced class. So you don't have to join a live class. You can watch videos on your LMS end to end at your own convenience. The business analyst earns amazing salaries. On the average in the UK, about £52,000 per annum. In Canada, about 74, and this is the average. And then in the US, about 85,000 US dollars. Now, going to the data analyst, the data scientist, and the data engineer. The data engineer's responsibility is to provide the data. In the bank, for example, data is generated across different systems, and you have different data sources. The ATMs, the POS, the web application, your mobile application, you use NatWest, you use Lloyds Bank, you use Revolut, Starling, Scotiabank. It doesn't matter. You have a mobile application or a web application, right? Data is always gotten from there when transactions happen. What's the job of the data engineer? The data engineer is to provide that data, to make sure that the data is available for the people that need to use the data. So the data engineer will create something called a data warehouse. Let's call it DW. And this is where all the data is stored in this data warehouse. The data analyst would need to analyze this data to tell, for example, we have different fraud transactions happening across our systems. There's been reports of fraudulent transactions happening across our systems. The data analyst would want to analyze the data to find out which platform gives us the fraudulent transactions, for example, okay? For the data analyst to answer that question, they must have access to this data warehouse. So without the data in the data warehouse, the data analyst cannot do their jobs. And that's why the data engineer is very important. Now, the job of the data analyst is to answer two key questions in every organization. Number one is what happened? And number two is why did it happen? These are the two key questions a data analyst must answer. What happened and why did it happen? So let's take a simple company like Netflix, for example. Netflix wants to know from January till date, so January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. Let me erase this. October. Okay. September, October. We are almost getting to the end of the year. The data analyst would want to help the company know how many new subscribers did we get from January till date. So the data analyst would go into that data warehouse that the data engineer has built and get the data to say, in January, we had 200 new subscribers. In February, we had 300. In March, we had 300. In April, we had 350. In May, we had 100. June, 100. July, 120. August, 300. September, we had 500. October, we had, say, 350. So this is what happened. Every company wants to know what happened. But when you know what happened, so you've gathered that data, you've used a tool like Excel, Power BI to analyze the data and show what happened. Netflix would want to know, why did we go down from 350 subscribers in April to 100 subscribers in May? What led to that decline? And this is where we are diving into the data to ask why it happened. Why did it happen? So when you've seen what happened, you must also answer the question, why did it happen? The first one is called descriptive analytics, answering the question, what happened? The second one, because you are diving deeper, you've seen what happened. The second is what? Diagnostic. You are diagnosing, going deeper into the data to find out, why did it happen? All right. So you want to know, did we stop our sales promotion? What exactly led to the decline? But if you look at September, you had the highest number of subscribers, 500. Why did we have 500? That's why did it happen? What led to the increase from 300 in August to what? 500 in September. Did we launch a new movie? Did we start our live streaming? What led to that? Because if I know what led to improvements, I can double down, keep on doing that to get better and similar results. And this is what the data analyst would do. The data scientist takes it a step further. The data scientist would answer what happened, why it happened, and what will happen. What will happen? Which is what? Predictive analytics. You are going into the future to see what will happen. So we are not yet in November, but the data engineer will tell you how many subscribers we are likely going to get in November, how many subscribers we are likely going to get in December, based on what has happened in the past. So you could see something like maybe 400 and something here like 600. So these are predictions, forecasting into the future. And this is where you have the major difference between the data analyst and the data scientist. The data analyst would answer what happened, why did it happen? Descriptive and diagnostic analytics. The data science will take it a step further to say, what will likely happen? What will happen in the future? Predictive analytics. And for you to predict the future, you must have statistical modeling skills. You must have a good background, a good knowledge of statistics. You must also learn machine learning. So when you see your statistical modeling, machine learning, and so on and so forth, this is where the data scientist comes in. All right. So the data engineer provides the data. The data analyst would use that data to answer the question, what happened and why did it happen? And the data scientist would use that to answer what will happen in the future. Okay, so this is putting it simply. And for you to work as a data analyst, you start with problem solving. You must know how to solve problems, the techniques, the frameworks, how to use the McKinsey-Mason model to break problems into smaller parts. You must know how to get to the root cause of a problem using the 5 whys. You must know Excel, Microsoft Excel. You must understand SQL, structured query language. Because when the data engineer creates that data warehouse, for you to get your data from that data warehouse, you must write SQL queries. The language of databases is SQL, structured query language. If you don't know SQL, you can't interact with databases. So that's why it's very important for every data professional. You'd also get to learn Power BI for your data visualization, Tableau, which is for data visualization, business intelligence. Power BI and Tableau would pretty much do similar things. However, understanding the two would give you the opportunity to apply to more type of jobs. And I'll give you this quick story. My very first job working for a company in the US was when I was in Nigeria. Years ago, I got a gig working for a company. And what was the gig about? What was the project about? The company was migrating their projects from Tableau to Power BI. So they had so many different reports. They were migrating from Tableau to Power BI, and they needed somebody who had knowledge and skills using Tableau and Power BI. And that was how I was able to get that opportunity. And that was my breakthrough into the US market, my very first job, working in Nigeria, earning in dollars, and spending in Naira. I got this job because I knew how to use Power BI and Tableau. And that's why it's good. It opens you up to more opportunities within the space. You'd learn data storytelling, AI for analytics using ChatGPT and Microsoft Fabric. Okay. The timeline is also 4 months, 3 months in class and 1 month internship. So you're doing your internship where you get to work on real life projects, build a portfolio. And the structure of the class, similar to business analysis, your live classes are on Saturdays. On Sundays, you don't have a live class. It's self-paced, your LMS, all right? For the data scientists, people would ask, okay, what's the major difference? I've told you, the data analysts would do descriptive and diagnostic. What happened? Why did it happen? The data scientist takes it a step further to answer what will happen, looking into the future. So you must understand statistics. You must understand forecasting and predictive analytics with Excel. So while you would learn Excel as a data analyst and learn Excel as a data scientist you'd have predictive analytics with Excel. So you're going to build machine learning. You're going to do some machine learning like linear regression, use some algorithms like linear regression, exponential smoothing for forecasting, the weighted average method of forecasting, the naive approach to forecasting, and so on and so forth. You'd learn Tableau, you'd learn SQL, Python, which is what you'd use for your exploratory data analysis and your machine learning. And then you'd learn computer vision, version control with GitHub, AI for coding using ChatGPT and GitHub Copilot, and Microsoft Fabric. The timeline is similar to the data analyst, 4 months, 3 months in class, 1 month internship. Saturdays are for your live classes. It doesn't matter if you're from the US, you are joining from the UK, you're joining from Africa, you have a class that fits your time zone. 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. for those in the UK, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Mountain Time for those in Canada and the US. So you have a time that is flexible and fits your time zone, all right? Sundays are for your self-paced classes. You can watch your classes at any point in time. The data engineer, you start with introduction to data engineering. SQL and Python is your bread and butter. These are the two major technologies you would always use every single day. You'd learn Linux for bash scripting. You'd learn how to get data from databases, APIs, scraping the web, and building your own custom ETL pipelines. You'd learn Apache Spark and Airflow for your data pipeline automation and orchestration. You'd learn AWS cloud engineering. You'd learn GCP and also Microsoft Azure. All right, these are the three major cloud platforms. You'd learn version control with GitHub and AI for data engineering using ChatGPT and GitHub Copilot. Your program as a data engineer is for 5 months. It's a bit longer than the others. 3 months and 2 months internship. So 3 months in class, learning the techniques, learning the technologies, and then you spend 2 months on your internship. All right. You have your classes on Saturdays, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. for those in the UK, Nigeria, Europe, similar time zones, and 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. for those in the US, Canada, similar time zones. Then you have the financial analyst and the HR analyst. The financial analyst is a data analyst. The HR analyst is also a data analyst. So how are they different? Why are they called financial analysts? Why are they called HR analysts? The financial analyst focuses on analyzing financial records. So you're a data analyst, but your focus is not on all types of data. You don't work with customer data. You don't work with research data. You don't work with different types of data. Your focus is on what? Financial data. And as a HR analyst, your focus is on what? People data. So that's just the difference. So you are niched into a particular area. You are seen as a subject matter expert when it comes to these areas. And as a financial analyst, you are helping organizations identify areas for cost optimization. You are helping them carry out scenario and sensitivity analysis. So when there are changes in unemployment numbers, inflation numbers, how does that impact the industry? How does that impact the company? So you're carrying out this different scenario analysis to help to measure the impact of economic downturns, regulatory changes within the industry. You're also helping to measure the financial health of the company. All right, we are looking at profitability metrics. You are looking at how profitable the company is, return on equity, return on investment, and so on and so forth. So you'd have the skills of the data analyst, problem solving, Excel, Power BI, and SQL. These are your data skills. Then you would add the core financial experience, accounting fundamentals, financial analysis, financial modeling, valuation, sensitivity and scenario analysis, and ChatGPT for analytics. And the timeline is just like the data analyst, 4 months, 3 months in class, 1 month internship. Classes are structured based on those joining from the US, those joining from the UK. There is a time that fits your schedule. As a HR analyst, you are a data analyst, but this time around, your focus is on people data. So what do? You want to help understand the factors leading to people leaving the company. Why do you have high attrition, high turnover? What are the factors leading to people leaving? What parts of your training budget leads and drives the business forward? So every year as a HR professional, head of HR, you send employee out for training. Which of these training has a positive return on investment to the business? After employees come back, performance improves based on the new skills they've learned. You want to measure that. You want to also know your best source of hire. You hire from different platforms, from LinkedIn, from your company's website, HR consultants. Which of these hires from the different platforms gives you the best return at the end of the day? So you can double down on that platform and optimize it. Okay, so these are the type of analysis you'll be carrying out. What are the factors leading to employees leaving? So that rather than having exit interviews for people already leaving, you can have stay interviews because you've identified people that are likely going to leave and implement strategies to ensure that you're able to keep your people. So you'd also learn the data skills, which are the fundamentals. Problem solving, Excel, Power BI, and SQL. Then you learn the core HR areas, HR analytics and performance evaluation, HR metrics and life cycle, HR analysis and dashboarding, collaboration and report automation, building your case and creating action, and chat GPT for analytics. Just like the financial analyst, you have the same structure, the same timing, the same schedule for the HR analytics program. All right. Now you have the Agile project manager. As an Agile project manager, your job is to manage projects within the organization using the Agile methodology. The Agile methodology has 3 frameworks: Scrum, Kanban, and Lean. So how do I leverage these 3 frameworks to ensure that when I manage projects that are technology related, I'm able to deliver, ensuring that I can optimize the team can work and deliver on this project for me. Okay, so you are creating project plans with the Agile methodology, you are facilitating collaboration among team members, and you're also ensuring that you identify and mitigate the risk that could affect and impact the project's success eventually. So these are the things you do as a project manager. As an Agile project manager, you can get jobs as a project manager, PMO planner, PMO analyst, Scrum Master, because you have understanding of these areas, the frameworks. So you start with introduction to project management methodologies, project management skills and communication, foundations of Agile and Scrum, understanding the Scrum framework, the Scrum artifacts, your sprint backlog, your sprint planning, sprint review, product backlog, increments, your advanced Scrum and Agile practices using Jira, how to use Jira to track project deliverables, and how to use Confluence to also collaborate on projects. You'd learn the Kanban boards and workflow management. You'd learn the metrics and reporting using the Agile methodology, your burn up, burn down charts, velocity charts, leadership and real world application of the Agile methodology, the Nexus Skilled Scrum, which is where you are implementing the Scrum framework across enterprise within multiple teams in an organization. And then we prepare you for the Scrum Master examination, the Professional Scrum Master examination, PSM. It takes 4 months, similar timeline, 3 months in class, 1 month internship, and you have your live classes, both on Saturdays and on Sundays. All right. Then finally, you have the cybersecurity professionals. And this brings us to the last career path for today. And as a cybersecurity professional, what do? You are protecting the systems, protecting the network, protecting the data from both internal and external threats in the organization. You're going to learn introduction to cybersecurity, computing and networking, which is the foundation of cybersecurity, information security principles, offensive and defensive cybersecurity, cryptography, attack vectors and cyber threats, network security, endpoints, web and application security, cloud security, incident response and forensics, and cybersecurity policies and compliance. And this will take you 4 months to get into this space, 3 months in class, 1 month internship, and you have your classes Saturdays and Sundays, live classes on Saturdays and Sundays. And this takes us to the last career path for today. And as we wrap up our session, remember to get a job from all the things we've said in the morning, summarizing it into an equation we always leverage at Analytics. You must have the T plus the E. This is 50%, and this is also 50%. If you have one, you will never get the job offer. And that's your technical skills plus your employability skills. Absolutely important. And I'll tell you for a fact that this is the reason why Analytics has been so successful when it comes to the employability skills. Your interview preparation, your CV review, your LinkedIn optimization, knowing where to apply, how to apply, not applying to just the conventional platforms that everybody else is applying to. Where are those unique websites? that you can leverage on and keep on applying to get better outcomes at the end of the day. And of course, we've talked about all the things from your CV to your LinkedIn to how to navigate the market, number of jobs you need to apply to, your interview prep. When you get an offer, we write you a reference. Organizations will reach out to us to provide a reference. On-the-job support, weekly mentorship sessions, and finally, your Upwork optimization. Okay, for those of you that want to get gig opportunities, work as freelancers, you have the opportunity to do that using Upwork. So if you have an Upwork profile, we optimize. If you don't have one, we work with you to build a profile. Okay, there are more success stories. I'm just going to skip through them. I'm not going to bore you with the success stories because you would have access to my slide. And I want you to read the stories of these professionals. Somebody like Sonia, for example, who moved to the UK for her master's. And today she's a HR analyst with British American Tobacco in the UK after completing our HR analytics program. All right. So for you to get access to my slides and all the materials, make sure you fill the attendance form. And I'll take out time as I wrap up in the next 5 minutes. If you have questions, I want to engage you to take your questions for another 10, 15 minutes before we wrap up. Okay? You're at this inflection point, that point where there is over-analysis. What do I need to do? From January, we are now in October. In 2 months' time, 2024 is gone. We get into 2025. So the question is, where do you want to be? Are you transitioning from where you are to a new career path? And what career path are you looking at? Okay, so our next cohort starts on the 2nd of November. So when you join, you'll be added to the LMS. You can start watching your videos from today. All right. And then on the 2nd of November is when you have your first live class. Okay. So your classes will begin on the 2nd of November, but you have the opportunity to start watching your videos on the LMS. So the next cohort starts 2nd of November, a few weeks to go. And we have an amazing discount for those who will be jumping into this cohort in November. All right. And the discount is for the first 20 people to join and register for any of the programs. And what's the discount? It's a whopping 20% discount. All right. So rather than paying $750, you get to pay only $600. And to even make it amazing and accessible, you have the opportunity to pay in installments. So you don't have to make all the payments at once. You can make payments at once. You can pay in 2 months and you can pay in 3 months. All right. And I'll show you how to navigate this path. So you want to get into data analytics. You want to get into data science. You have the opportunity to do that. Join our November cohorts. All right. Take advantage of the $150 discount and get to pay just $600. I was discussing, the lady I told you has been joining since June. We had a discount. Around that time, we had a discount for women, celebrating the International Women's Day. But that discount is off. And she came back and she was like, oh, Adisa, I see that the discount that time is off. It seems like the fees have gone up again. And it's always the case. So you don't want to come back in January 2025 or February 2025 and you see that the discount is no longer on and you have to pay the full amount of $750. All right. And I'll show you very quickly, how do you take advantage of these discounts? All you have to do, which my colleagues would share in the chat, is to come in here and click on this link. It takes you to the main stack, the Tenalytics main stack page. All right. So here you have the opportunity to pay in 3 installments. It doesn't matter where you are, you make your payments in 3 installments. So click on this. I want to make my payments. I'm sorry, let me see. Okay. I think I clicked on the wrong link. So when you come in here, you come to the program you want to register, all right? And you have the opportunity to pay in installments. So let's say I want to pay for data analytics. I click on register for DA, business analysis, register for BA, all right? So if I click on this, it takes me to the data analytics page. And here I can either make my payments in one-time, full-time payment, the discounted fee of $600, or I can pay 2 monthly payments of $300 each month. And the best value, 3 monthly payments, spread my payments across. I make my first payment today on the 12th of October. My next payment would be on the 12th of November, and the final payment would be on the 12th of December. And this is the advantage you get when you take the discount and you also get to make payments in installments, all right? So your first payment is due today. You make the payment of $200 in November, on November 12th, and $200 on the 12th of December. It doesn't matter if you're in the UK, you get debited in pounds, okay? But you still get, would have paid $200, but you get the debit in pounds. So if you're in the US, you get debited in dollars. If you're in Canada, you get debited in Canadian dollars in your local currency. So you come in here, enter your name, enter your email, your phone number, click on pay for product, enter your card details, and go ahead and confirm your payments. Once you confirm payment, you make your payments, you get an automated receipt into your email, which would come with a link for you to complete your registration. Once you complete registration, you get to be a part of the program. You get into the LMS, you can start watching your videos, and on the 2nd of November, your first live class will commence, and you start your journey into the tech ecosystem. Remember, the discount is for the first 20 people to get into the program. So take advantage of this and be a part of the first 20. Get into the space before 2025. So by this time in March, around this period in March, you are done with the program and you'd have started applying to jobs. And by then you're talking about getting jobs and not starting at that point in time, okay? So I'm going to take questions before I wrap up my session. So Abolaji Dada is asking in pounds. So in pounds is very straightforward, all right? This is what you need to do, Abolaji. So if you go online, go to any currency converter. So let's do O&A converter. I come in here, I select dollar to pounds. How much is $600 to pounds? Okay, how much is $600 to pounds? That's about 459 pounds. Okay, so if I'm paying $200, per month for the next 3 months, $200 is 153 pounds. So it means I'll be debited 153 pounds the first month. Second month, I pay another $200, 153, and the third month, another 153 pounds. Okay, so you get debited in your local currency after you've made your payments. I hope that answers your question for the gentleman who asked that question. So let's take questions, and I'll be happy to give answers to those questions before we wrap up. I think we have another 10 plus minutes. Is November the only cohort this year? Fantastic. Thanks for that, Abdullahi Rashid. Okay, so you combined the names, so it was a bit difficult for me to pronounce. So we have cohorts from January up until now. So every single month we have a new cohort starting. The cohort in October started on the 5th of October. The cohort in November will be on the 2nd, and the cohort in December will be on the 7th. The advantage you have here is you can lock in your discount this month and decide to start in December, or even decide to start in January. So while filling the form, after you make payments and you receive the email, while filling the form, you'd select when you want to start. Okay, so you'd see that question, when do you want to start? So you can select 2nd of November if you want to start in November, or 7th of December if you want to start in December. So we have cohorts every single month. Eric is asking, what happens if our schedule doesn't allow us to join the live class? Simple, Eric, very simple and straightforward. So these are the things we get people, because 90% of the people that join us are either master's students in the US, in the UK or Canada, or they are working at the moment doing something else. So if you go to your live classes, all right, like I showed you earlier, if you miss a live class, there is always the class recording. So you'd see the class recording. You go to the platform, you click on the recording, and you can watch every single thing that happened that day in class. You can practice along, you can do the same things, all the questions people asked in the live class, you get to listen in and listen to the explanation your trainer gave. All right. You also have access to the class materials, so everything is made available for you to access. If for any reason you have other questions, you drop your questions in your WhatsApp group. So every cohort has a WhatsApp group. You drop your questions, your facilitator, your trainer, you have a data coach, and also a class coordinator. They're all there to answer questions. All right. And every Wednesdays, we have something called the drop-in session. What's a drop-in session? It's like your makeup class. So you miss a class on Saturday. On Wednesdays, you have drop-in sessions where, for those that miss the class, you want to join this session because you'll have your trainer in this drop-in session bringing you up to speed. Okay, and that's why the drop-in session is designed, because over the years, we've seen and we've learned that for beginners getting into the space, you have so many questions and you need a platform to ask as many questions as possible. So from your live classes to your WhatsApp groups to your drop-in sessions, there is always an avenue for you to show and ask the questions that you have. I don't know if that answers your question, Abdullahi, who asked that question. Oh, you joined in November, you don't receive job offers. Yes. So what we are doing, this is an initiative, Patrick. It's a new initiative we just launched. So we launched it sometime around May after we launched the LMS. The LMS was launched in May this year. So for those who joined in May till now, they have access to all that. So what we are also doing is we are going back to bring in our previous participants. So from May, we are going to April, we are going to March, we are going to February, January, and even to 2023 to bring back people to the platform, to the LMS, because this is where you have every single thing, all the things I've talked about today, you have them here. Okay, so in the next couple of weeks, Patrick, you'll be receiving an email with your login access to join the LMS, and you have access to these new materials. All right, fantastic. Good to have you join us today, Patrick. So Temitope is asking, what kind of laptop do we need? Entry-level laptop. You don't need anything above the mid-range. You need a mid-range laptop, okay? 8 gigabytes RAM, 250 gigabytes SSD or HDD. You don't have to bother too much about, it can be a Core i3. Like I said, mid-range, nothing on the high end, okay? Let me see. I don't have Power BI on my laptop. Would there be provision? That's the list of your worries. So for every program you join, so let's go to business analysis, or let's go to something that is more technical. Let's go to data science, for example. So when you join a program, you have your week 0. Week 0 is for your introduction, and then you also have your installations. So every single application you need, your Excel, your Tableau, your PostgreSQL, Anaconda, which is where you have your Python, and your IDE, where you write your Python codes. You have the guide, step-by-step guide on how to download and install. So this is downloading and installing.
Hello, and good day.
So that's the Femena. It's going to walk you through how to download and install Anaconda, all the different tools and technologies. You have them here. So when you join, if you make payments now, for example, you're onboarded onto the platform. This is the first thing you want to do. You want to do what? Complete your installations. So you don't have to worry about the tools and technologies. You have that covered. For MacBook, absolutely. You have that available. It doesn't matter if you have a Windows or you have a MacBook. Okay. Gilad Bless is asking, I'm a database administrator with experience with Azure codes. Can you help me get a remote job? Absolutely. Okay. As a database administrator with Azure, all right. Absolutely, you can get a remote job. I'm not sure if I showed you. Okay, I think I talked about Muhyiddin, who is in Ibadan. I didn't also talk about Abdul Rashid, who is in Abuja, working as a data scientist for a company in the US. Muhyiddin works for a company in the UK. We had Karimat, who was working from Nigeria in Lagos, working for a company here in Canada before she moved to Canada. Then you also have somebody like Victor, who worked as a people operations analyst for a company in the US. Okay, so you can get those jobs. Like I said, all the things we've talked about today would inch you closer to getting positive experience and positive outcomes when you apply to those jobs. Okay, I think I haven't seen any other questions for now. Again, I don't want to take or keep you here for too long. Take the advantage of joining, be a part of the platform, start your journey into the tech ecosystem in 2024. Don't let November go by. Don't let December go by. Don't be that person that joined every free class, but never got to get into the program, okay? Discount is for the first 20 people. Take advantage, be a part of the first 20 people, all right? I'm going to share my slide with you. You'd see where our participants work. You'd see some of our features across the major dailies, the hackathons, the events we've held, the scholarship we've done over the last couple of years, ensuring that we help more ladies, more women get into the tech ecosystem, all right? And you also have the opportunity to look at more testimonials. For somebody like Ebube, who got a job with the NHS as a data scientist after joining Tenalytics, and so many other professionals, but you get this all in my slide. Before we leave here today, there is one thing I want everybody to do, okay? I want you to go to LinkedIn. I want you to go to YouTube. Go to YouTube, search Tenalytics, okay? Go to YouTube and search Tenalytics, all right? Follow, click on the logo to go to the Tenalytics page. Ensure that you subscribe to Tenalytics, all right? And all the different content, the content I've been sharing with you for the last 2.5 hours, everything, you get access to them also on YouTube. And the beauty about this is you get 4 years since 2020 till date of knowledge available here, all right? So if you click on videos, for example, you can watch sessions on how I would learn cybersecurity if I could start over in 2024. This was a session I held yesterday. You could watch the session I shared with you on my slide with the link, how to secure visa-sponsored jobs. You have all the details. You have them right here, okay? You have so many amazing sessions. You can see Lois right here, how she was able to get a job. She posted that here. You also get to listen to, projects I have worked on in the last 3 months training with Tenalytics. You also have that right here. So you have amazing content for you. And if you go to the playlist, you can get to look at all the testimonials. Why is this important?
Yeah.
It's important because you want to listen to professionals like this. How Tenalytics helped me achieve my goal. How Tenalytics helped me to get a job. and you also get inspiration from that. You listen to somebody like Ngozi, who was able to transition, this gentleman who got a job as a data science professional, Joel, who works as a data engineer remotely from Nigeria. So for the gentleman who asked, I know Azure, which is a cloud engineering platform, can I get a job remotely? Joel works remotely.
Hello, everyone.
From Nigeria. Okay, it's a 52-second video. So perhaps I'll play this and I'll use that to wrap up our session today. Follow us on YouTube, subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Instagram, follow us on LinkedIn, so you get to see the amazing work we are doing across the space. I'll be looking forward to starting your journey and looking forward to working with you as you start your journey with us at Analytics. So I'll play, let me see, I'll play Joel and then we'll wrap it up from here, okay? I'll see if I have any other questions in the chat, but if there are no questions, what's the cost? Is the same amount for all the programs. The original amount is $750. The discounted is $600. Okay, so I'll play Joel's video and then I'm going to wrap it up with that today. So let's listen and enjoy Joel. Joel is a data engineer working remotely for a company in the US. So let's listen to Joel.
Everyone, my name is Joel Madmere, and in September last year I enrolled for the data engineering program. And after an intensive training, I was able to get a job, and I want to say a big thank you to Analytics, because the interview I got, most of the things that I was able to speak about was because of the capstone project. Yes, the capstone project really stressed us, but really grounded me in lots of skills in Airflow, in AWS, and these are things that I could very confidently talk about. And plus, the tools and the resources I used for the interview were tools that were given during the mentorship session. So I want to say a big thank you to everyone at Analytics, to the instructors, to everyone. I just want to say thank you, because I wouldn't have gotten a job without Analytics. So I just want to say a big thank you to Analytics. And if you're thinking about enrolling into any program, don't think twice. Go for it. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Victor Balaji.
Okay, so that's Joel. So like I said, take advantage, the first 20 people. And we also have, how many case studies would you have on the average? You must have a minimum of 25 projects. Ideally, you want to have 25 projects, okay? So you keep on revamping the projects from time to time, or you keep on adding to the projects. So there is no fixed number, all right? You could have 10 projects and you use that to get a job. But by the time you are done with any program you join at Analytics, you'd have created a minimum of 25 projects or thereabouts, and you want to add them to showcase the type of skills that you have. If you don't have a portfolio with projects, you are doing yourself a disservice, okay? So you want to have that, all right? I hope I answered the question, Gold. How does the internship work? The internship is a project-based internship. So I'll take the data science as an example, or the business analysis as an example. Time is fast spent, so I can't show you that right now. So you will be working on a project. So you have a project document, you watch the video that shows you what this project aims to achieve, okay? You'd work together with a cross-functional team, because this is the way you work in the real world. You don't work alone. You work with cross-functional teams. So as a business analyst, you're going to work with the Agile project manager. You're going to work with a real-life software developer. You would decide, so you have an onboarding where your coach that will coach you during your internship will tell you the expectations, what you're meant to do, and your team members. Then you would meet and agree on the time you'd have your weekly meetings, because you must always catch up to see what you've done, what has been assigned, and what you need to complete within a given, time, within a given period. So you work on those different tasks that you have assigned to each other. And then you have something we call your review. So as a business analyst, you have your sprint planning, you have your sprint review sessions. So every week you come together to have these sessions, okay? You show what you've done, what the software developer has built, Based on the requirements you have gathered, and you give feedback, what can be improved, what hasn't been achieved, what is the definition of done? For you to say this requirement is done, what must you achieve to say that, okay? So once you are done with all these your meetings, you have your coach in that call giving you feedback as well. So by the time you are done after 2 months, you would have gone through the end-to-end process of what the business analyst will do in the real world, from working on that project, using Jira to track your deliverables, getting feedback every single meeting you have to know what you're doing right, what you're not doing right. And at the end of the day, you'll be able to build a portal that that company would use to optimize their process. Okay, so that's what the internship looks like. I'd have loved to show you more, but time is already fast spent. We have something we call the clarity session, which is we show you, some people might have questions around, I'm not sure if I should do business analysis. It sounds very good. Okay, or I don't know, like the question Honor is asking, which is more technical, BA, data, or HR. Data is more technical, followed by HR, and then business analysis in that order. Data, HR, business analysis. So questions like this, should I do data? Should I do BA? If you have those type of questions, when you are filling your registration form, there is a section that says, which program do you want to join? And so on. So you select the program, and you also have the option to select, I want to speak with a professional. Okay. And my colleagues, in addition to what the materials you receive, you'd also get a link to book a clarity session. But you want to ensure that you make payments before you join the clarity session so that you are still part of the 20 people to take advantage of the discounts. So in the clarity session, we have one coming up tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, every single day of the week. So you select the day that fits and aligns with your schedule. But if you select a Friday, for example, what happens? You find out on that Friday after your question has been answered and you decide that I want to get into the data analyst career path, only to realize that the discount is off. And that's why I always advise people, take advantage of the discount, book your clarity session by selecting, I need to speak with a professional after you make payment and you're filling the form. And then we book a slot for you, we meet with you, you ask your questions, and we have you select the career path where you get the very best out of. Okay, I hope I've answered all the questions. Let me see if I have any other questions before we call it a day. Without this discount, absolutely, you can apply without the discounts. The difference is the discount gives you a lower fee. Without the discounts, instead of paying 200 per month, you get to pay 250. So 250, 250, 250. With a discount, you pay 200, 200, 200. All right. The program is designed with the beginner in mind. A care worker does not have experience in the tech ecosystem. So when you see somebody like Abigail, Ebube was a care worker as well. Ebube, if you look at the message she sent, she said, my new role is data scientist. My first proper job in the UK after training with Analytics. So she works with the NHS as a data scientist, transitioned from a care working role into the NHS as a data scientist. So it's designed with the beginner in mind. We don't expect you to come with any experience. We don't expect you to come with any knowledge. You learn all the things you need to get started. Okay. If I lock in the discounts for January now, when will be my next installment? So buyer, you can lock in your discounts. Okay. When you are filling the form, okay, Elijah has responded. Just send a message to Elijah on that number, and so that you don't get debited in November and debited again in December, since you want to start in January. So we organize that for you. Okay, I think Elijah answered that question already. Okay, I think we'll call it a day at this point, but before we wrap up, I want you to type into the chat if you had a great time today type in yes into the chat, or great, or I had a great time. Just type in something exciting. Okay, just type in something exciting. Fantastic. Temitope says great time. So thank you very much, guys, for joining us today. It's always exciting for us to share as much information with you so you know exactly where to get into. You're not going in blindly. You're not going in because you see that person who also did business or did data analytics, but you know exactly what you're getting into and how you're going to learn and what is important to land in that job. Thank you very much, Wasil. Thank you, Ezine, Oluwaseun, Nosa. Had a great time as well, okay? So all you need to do, take advantage of the discount, and I'll be looking forward to working with all of you, all right? Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Enjoy your Sunday. Enjoy the rest of the Saturday. And cheers, everybody. Have a great time.